I'm William Shatner. I've done a lot of things in my career, but this takes the cake. This is so cool. You, Jeff, today it's all about you. You were born a long, long, long time ago. It's exciting. It makes me want to celebrate. Makes me want to get up out of this chair. Makes me want to sing. Makes me want to dance. Makes me want to shout. Kick my heels up. Throw my hands up. Toss my head back. No, really, people should be shouting your name in the street.
Come on now. Sing
that song. Sing it out loud. I want to celebrate. Put it up in lights.
You're officially over the hill.
See, no one else deserves to be celebrated like you because you are the best.
I want you to know.
I want you to know.
I said I want you to know.
I want you to know right now you make me want to shout. That's right, you make me want to shout because there really is no doubt. You know what I'm talking about because you make me want to shout. Yeah! You make me wanna.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you guys get this stuff.
YouTube.
Well, I mean, how do you get someone's name? I mean,
They're actually made that way.
millions of names.
Well,
They made it
I
for
didn't find Jefferson. That's sorry.
That's too dignified.
That would be more than more than the internet could provide. Hi, Trisha. Calling in from Australia.
Yeah,
Yes, Jeff's
Wonderful.
birthday here too today.
yeah. Wow, we've been around. We've been hanging out all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where else is there to be?
Jeffrey Beadle is there from
Maribod.
Are you still
Maribod.
Maribod?
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. Since they opened the Samadhi, it has made such a difference.
Oh.
It is so amazing. Everybody can feel it. A friend of mine just came back from Mumbai. I talked to him last night, and he said the energy is just so much. Well, a lot of it's combination. The weather has changed, but the Samadhi, I was here when the weather changed, and the Samadhi just being there is so powerful now. You can't go in, and the darshans have to be very short and focused, but for me, it makes it all the more powerful.
Yeah,
I can't
beautiful.
just dawdle there. You know?
But you can't go into
So,
the tomb.
yeah. No,
you
you
go-
can't go in, but you
Yeah.
can stand in front of the Samadhi. There's a screen up, and the only people that go in are people that have to maintain it and open the doors, the windows rather. You know, the doors
Yeah.
for the windows.
Yeah.
A couple of times during a day, and they have 2 people on duty to monitor, make sure everyone is following the protocol, sanitizing their hands when they come in. And it's sort of like a mini corral going right to the screen. So everyone's directed, everything's roped off inside. Ted Judson did a really good job organizing the whole thing. And there's footprints every 6 feet to keep everybody safe.
Yeah, beautiful.
So, you know, it's, you know, there's a little bit, and at first it was sort of like herding cats, you know? Doing with Babylon was just like herding cats. But people are starting to sort of, you know, it got more and more familiar with it, and it's flowing very, very nicely.
Yeah,
So
lovely.
that's my yeah.
So
Jeff,
Sandra,
do you see Hugh and Judy McDonald?
I see Jeannie on the Effort and Grace meeting at times.
Oh,
And I haven't seen Hugh in a long time. They're down near the, you're down right in Lower Maribel. I'm in Maricony. And you see, there's no, you know, regular RT anymore. People don't show up for the evening or morning where you used to see everyone. NPR is still closed. So everyone's sort of scattered about. So it's really become more intimate between each individual and Baba. And I have people who walk with or talk with, but I'm not really in their circle. And I don't eat at Savage Kitchen. If I ate at Savage Kitchen, I might see them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
If you
Hey, we
happen
got
to, please
we
say
got
hi.
Etsy on here,
Yes.
and I wonder if you could give us a little biography of Carrie Ben Shammai. You know, she was the only person from Israel who came and met Baba here in Myrtle Beach. And I mean, could you give us just a little bit of her history?
Of course.
Because we don't have Etsy on. You know, he shows up, but not as frequently as. But it's rare. Very few people know much about Carrie Ben Shammai.
Yeah, it's 5 in the morning in Israel now. I met Carrie during 72. I was sent to her. I was attending a group of Rudolf Steiner group in Tel Aviv, which was a long story. I was 22 at that time. It was shortly after I was released from the army in 69, etc. When I came to Carrie's humble apartment in Jerusalem, I entered to Baba's room. She had a small Baba's room, and as soon as I looked at Baba, at his photo, he gave me this experience of who he is. I knew it was unbelievable. It was as if the veil was rented, and I knew everything about him. As per a human, limited human being can experience. Because more than this, you simply drop that experience of divine love, the effulgence of his compassion. But it was just a glimpse, so a person can handle it. And after that, the joke of the whole thing, I think Baba Mary, as usual, he must crack a joke for himself, that I have never told Carrie this, that I know the Baba is her avatar, because she never let me share. Carrie was an exceptional human being. She was extremely fiery. She couldn't understand why the world is not running to worship Baba. And she didn't understand. She was overwhelmed by his presence since she met him in the Delmonico Hotel in 1956. And on my website, I opened a special column recently for Carrie Ben Shammai. The website is meirbabaisrael.com. You should know, some of you know about it. And on this website, I added a new film, which I just received from Erwin Luck. There's the only colored film that we got of Curry, telling a story in this apartment in Jerusalem, 1971. From 1972 till 1979, I was visiting. I lived in Jerusalem, and I would come from time to time to visit Curry. I didn't understand much about spirituality, to say the least, at that time. My English was very humble, to say the least. But actually, the experience of Bao was so overwhelming that reading was just superficial. This is for one thing. Anyway, we reached 1979. Carrie started to get sick. Her body.
Etsy on? Wait
Yes,
one
sir.
second. Can you give us any idea of what about her earlier life, her growing up and everything? A little bit about that?
Yes, of course, I know. It's also on my website. There is a story of Carrie Ben Shammai in the Hebrew Discourses. Very briefly, she was the daughter of the first president of Orthodox Judaism in the beginning of the 20th century. He was not a certified rabbi, but he was an exceptional human being. He was talking to the could talk to prime ministers. He was a man of languages. He was wealthy on his own accord. In 1935, Carrie ran away from the house, most likely in her early 20s, due to her restless nature, and she didn't like strict Judaism, orthodoxy, which is very we are the Jews, we are the chosen people, and the Gentiles in the house of the servants, they were Germans, they would eat in the basement, not together with the family. And also in Jewish Orthodox, it's very strict. You know, we're supposed to be a very holy nation for God. Originally, it was true. I'm not judging, of course, anyone. And they're trying to keep the Jewish law since Master Moses. But this is another very long story. And to make this long story short, she left home and started to look for a master. Eventually, after many years, she fell in love with Lao Tzu. During her voyage, she became an English teacher for the British Army in World War II. And later on, I think, in spite of her leaving the Orthodox Jewish community, she got married with an Orthodox Jewish scholar. I met him, of course, in the 70s. I was chatting with him quite often about Baba. He was the first to start to translate Baba's material, the discourses, into Hebrew. I'll show you the booklet, just a minute.
Your face, Etzion?
Just a minute. I don't know how much time you have or you're giving me. This is the very first booklet published in Israel by Carrie, 1964. It was sent to Baba. Baba was exceptionally pleased, and he signed it and sent Carrie a copy of this little book.
Etzion, can you
Yes,
show
ma'am.
your video? Can you show your video? We're not seeing yours. It's closed.
Well, you cannot see the video on my
No.
website? You entered my
No.
website?
No. Here. It's the
Zoom video. We are able to see, Betty.
Oh, you can see?
Yeah,
How
we can
can
see.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's. Oh, sorry. Never mind. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay.
Go ahead. Ed.
Okay, 1979, her husband, Meir Ben Shammai, her family name was, her maiden name was Rosenheim. Ruth Caroline Rosenheim, before she got married. Carrie. Carrie is short from Caroline. Jews all over the diaspora used to take foreign names. She wouldn't call herself just Ruth or Ruthie. She was being called Caroline. So you will be able to walk in the street without being eggs thrown into your face, which was a common thing all over Europe. You were being abused nonstop the past 1,000 years at least and more.
Did she
Yes,
tell
next.
Etzion, did she tell you any of her exchanges with Baba, any personal
Yes.
experiences that she had?
You can see it in her videos. And personally, she didn't tell me too many things about herself. In her latter years, after she was admitted to the home, a couple of times she asked me to come and narrate her story, and for whatever reason I didn't do it. But later on, over the years, I recollected a very large amount of stuff concerning her life and her great father. Choosing Carrie, for one, was a direct hit of the Lord, direct to the very core of Judaism, which is quite unbelievable. This is simply astonishing. how clever he is, and he dug her out of nowhere. Her husband won the lottery during 1956. It was, remember, it was shortly after the terrible war of 1948 that all our Arabic neighbors declared a total war against this little tiny country, which I don't know why it disturbs them so much. It brought only prosperity to the place. And this is, again, of course, I can get into it. It's a very long story, why the war started, etc., etc. Skip it. And I've tried to collect as many documents and stories. Recently, I started to receive the letters that Carrie Ben Shammai sent to Barbara over the years. Meredith Klein from the archive started to collect it. The first time I requested these letters was during 1982 from Jack Small. He told me, there is a room over there packed with papers, go and find out. Of course, it was not possible. The millions of documents crammed in one place. So they're sorting all these things out, and I started to get, just recently, the past few months, started to get a bunch of letters. And our Michal Sivan, or Michelle as you call her, she has the gift to translate the handwriting of Carrie to English. She's typing it. I cannot read the letters. I don't understand who can read it, who could read it over there. But she is transferring it. It tells another story. I have all the letters and the documents given from Baba and the Mandali to Carrie over the years. So now I can fit in the puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's stop at that point. And Jay Sema, did you have the movie or the video or not?
Which one, Jeff?
Did you have the video of Carrie Ben Shammai?
No.
Oh, I thought.
Okay, let me check my website just a second.
I'm talking about whether we could actually see it.
Just a minute. I want to open my website and I want to see why you cannot open it. Where is it? It's hidden somewhere. I have to minimize it. Just a minute.
Meanwhile, we've got, while you're looking,
yes,
see who we have here. We've got Namita, Janet Jacobs, I see.
Alan can probably share.
We've got Nasreen. I don't know what happened to Alan. He kind of slipped off there.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
I am seeing the video now.
Have you got it? Well, just a second. Have you got the video?
Yeah, I can see it on my website.
Okay. Oh, no, I mean, but can you put it on now so we can see it? Now.
If you share it in chat, Alan can share it into the meeting.
I'll let you know. I'll copy paste the link on YouTube, and I'll paste it on where do you want me to paste the link? On the chat?
In the chat.
How long is the video?
I don't know where to place it. Yes, you can see it. So you mean I'll place it on the chat, and you will.
Do you see the chat in Zoom at the bottom?
You can see it in the chat.
And then it shows up as a window, and then you can just paste it at the bottom there.
But I didn't do it to everyone. I did it to Jeff Biddle or
No, send it to Alan.
Alan? Alan M?
Yeah, Alan M.
Alan M.
Alan M as opposed to Alanon.
Yeah, I did.
Or Eminem.
Isn't it a long video? Well.
No, about 15 minutes.
Isn't it long?
15 minutes?
About.
That's not bad.
You seeing it now?
17.
Oh yeah, I just got it.
It's on the chat.
Just got it. He'll put it on.
Yeah, but I found it on my website. It's easy to see. In my website, we opened a new column, Carrie Ben Shammai. So all the material I have of Carrie, or part of it, will be placed there eventually. But I wanted later on to refer to the story of Tim Busfield, to give you more details. But you want to watch the movie?
Yeah, we'd like to see the movie. I've never seen a movie of her.
Yeah,
And
there are three on my website. There are 3 videos. 2 videos taken by
Erwin Luck.
one is by, this is it. Here you go. Watch this thing first.
My name is Carrie Ben Shammai. At the moment I live in Israel, in Jerusalem. I want to tell you something about the grace which the Master descended on us by giving us a chance to meet him in physics for the first time in 1956. And Baba was descending at Idlewood Airport and waved like an ancient acquaintance, and I saw him for the first time in my earthly life. Later on, I was once more introduced to Baba when he left the airport, and I saw him again at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel when he received everybody for a few minutes. I knew that this was the end of my search for the perfect master. And ever since, there has not passed a moment, the breath of a moment, that I have not been in inner contact with Baba, to me the only one existing forevermore. Later on, Baba arranged it, my first flight on this earth plane, to travel with him to Myrtle Beach from New York and spending a number of days in his presence there. First, we were put outside the center, but Baba felt our necessity to be near him, and he put me into the lagoon cabine. And I had the task to clean the first thing in the morning his cabin. And I used to come out into the woods there when nobody was up. I was sitting in the middle of the dense woods, praying towards God to open my heart towards the perfection and beauty and love compassion of our beloved Baba. Then suddenly, having sat there for about a quarter of an hour, raising my eyes, Baba, perhaps 2 meters away, stood there on the bridge, waving towards me. I ran towards Baba. I tried to look into his eyes. I couldn't grasp his eyes. But Baba knew all about me, and he put his hand to his mouth, telling me to run towards breakfast. I was running towards Baba. I was trying to look into his eyes, but I could not grasp it. Then Baba put his finger to his mouth, saying I should go to run for breakfast. So I turned running, Baba looking after me, appearing at the table. It seems like a ghost, because one of the American old disciples remarked, "Funny, I didn't notice Gary coming into the room." I knew why he had not noticed, because I had just been seized by the highest of spirit. And another American disciple girl sitting next to me said, well, Carrie just came in. Now, I had been meditating intensively on the God-man, whom I had met for the first time in my earthly wandering and seeking. Drawn by that intense meditation, Baba suddenly had to come from his house towards the bridge. Then many other happenings were going on in that extraordinary wood. I was sleeping on the bridge, and all night long I heard the frogs calling out, Baba, 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 Baba. And I was all the time thinking, if I could receive the awakening kiss of the Master. Now, when it was time to go on from Myrtle Beach to California, and Baba thought that was quite enough for the moment, because I had been a guest of his at Myrtle Beach, and I could not separate from Baba because I was inconsolable, having been seeking for him for unending times. I had met my master, and I had told Baba, let me go with you to India and sit at your feet and be guided by your grace. And then if I have to go back where I came from, Israel, I shall go back. But Baba gestured in the presence of Meherji, Carrie, go straight back to Israel. You have entered my heart forever, and I shall enter your heart forever. And there will be no more separation. At the time I didn't even realize what it meant. Baba said to me, I shall enter your heart forever, and you shall enter my heart forever, and we shall never be separated again. At this time I didn't even realize what it meant, but now after 11 years of that having happened, as I said before, there is not a breath of a moment when there is separation. Night and day, there is union, and everything which is being done, which is being thought, is being done by Baba. And all our endeavor is to be empty of everything else but Baba's compassion and love, and a continual prayer for redemption of all creation invades our hearts. Well, I was telling about coming back towards the breakfast table. Well, I was telling about the instant when I was supposed to separate from Baba. And then I had been thinking all those nights of the awakening kiss, and Baba saw I was inconsolable. Baba had embraced me. And after having said that, but I still could not separate, and stood before Baba, Meherji on his side, all alone in that wood. Then Baba gave that awakening kiss. I was immediately consoled. I sat some distance away because other people were approaching Baba. I had the impression that had been Christ, having recognized our hearts, longing on the path for eternal union. Well, I have to think of how that happened. That was the first year I was. In 1958, I was traveling by boat towards Barber's Harvest in Myrtle Beach, and all along on the boat, sitting in utter isolation, I was always having the thought of lying down my life for Barbara, because I thought, what is my life? And having arrived in Myrtle Beach, Barbara immediately called me as one of the first newcomers, sitting in the lagoon cabin with him, Arti, and some other Barbara Mandeli. When I was sitting on the stool next to Barbara, I knew nothing else but Barbara. Barbara said to the Mandeli, Carrie always writes to Mani, and Mani always reads her letters to me, and they make me extremely happy. Barbara used to explain that meant that Barbara was giving his grace to us when he said that it made him happy. Regarding that weeping business, once we were sitting in Myrtle Beach on the floor. I was sitting right at the back and crying. Some neighbors offering me hankies. And so Barbara, he signed and made a sign of wiping my eyes. And we all had to laugh that among all these people, he recognized my tears for him. Whenever I saw Barbara, I had to cry fearfully, without stoppage, because I'd come into the presence of the God-man, and I felt that the most ancient things having been suppressed, the longing for the union with the divine, had been awakened in the presence of the divine beloved. So things were loosening in the most subconscious of my heart. Now, I had forever been expressing on my own, alone, my love for Barbara in dancing, in own individual dancing. And I had always desired to bring this kind of worshipping before Barbara. Since Barbara reads all your thoughts, this is very natural to him. In '69, when we were having a meeting in Pune, at the end of the meeting, suddenly I found myself, without being conscious of it, in front of the assembly. There must have been several hundred of people. I was dancing in utter worship and devotion before Barbara and some Indian players in front of me. Then again in '69, there was a special meeting between the Mandeli women and myself in Guru Prasad. The Australians had left and I had stayed, by mistake I might say, by Barbara's will, for one day longer. Also I had booked at the same time. Regarding the meeting, sitting on the stool next to our beloved, Barbara told the Mandeli, Carrie's always writing to Mani, And Mani always brings her letters to me, and they make me very happy. Meaning, in Baba's words, giving my grace to someone.
And let's
Regarding the weeping, I always experience.
let's stop there for now. But beautiful. I had never seen her, and so beautifully, right from her heart. Yeah.
Wow, that was wonderful.
Yeah, we have, this is the first time probably most of us have even seen her, except just briefly in the movies.
That was incredible what she was saying. I was like, just the experience of the unraveling of all the most ancient things that were in her heart when she was in the presence of the God Man, and it was just kind of all flowing out of her. It was very visceral for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I had asked VJ to share the story of his father, although maybe we could do that another time, or let's see what people are up for. But I know VJ's father had a very intimate time with Baba. Alan, you got any stuff on the stove there?
Oh no, I'd like to hear from VJ if you want to share. VJ, are you there?
VJ, do you want to share that tonight or Tuesday night?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe next time is short, but I was really impressed with the last night talk about Elizabeth, and Ganesh was asking Charles a last question, and then that was very touching, and that was regarding going to church, because once I asked Elizabeth that whether I can come to church along with her, and she said, no, you stay at the center. And so Charles was describing that how he used to go to church, and he asked her whether what sermons interests you, and she says, sermons, I take Baba with me to church. So that was the answer I got. Definitely, what a great lady touched me. She's taking Baba to the church. And of course, this looks to be a small incident. 2 years back, when I was at Myrtle Beach Center, a lady from newcomer lady from Nashville in Tennessee, somewhere Franksville. She was there, and she happened to be residing in the nearby cabin. And so we went in the morning breakfast. We happened to sit on the same table since other tables were engaged. And so we started this discussion, and she said, I'm from here and there. And I also said, yes, yes. I had come to this center in 78 and 1980 and Elizabeth. And then I just coincidentally, I told her that, well, I asked Elizabeth whether to come go to church along with her. And she said, oh, is it so? And oh, then she got something was going within her, and she said, oh, I got the answer. And so all these discussions and chats really means how Baba opens, gives you answers, how he connects people from all over the world meeting each other. Yeah, That was so lovely. Last night I was really very much touched with the talk and the cross questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
yeah.
I remember one of Margaret Crass' dancers, Peter Saul. Margaret Crass asked him, "Do you go to the Baba meetings in New York?" He said, "No, I don't get anything out of there, out of the going." And Margaret said, "Get something out of it. You're supposed to go there to give."
Yeah, right,
Kind of
right.
like, so from then on, he would make himself available. I mean, he had met Bob and everything, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he came to give, like Elizabeth. Going to church was not to get something from the church, but to give.
It's
Bring
not
Bob his love.
amazing. My God. What
Yeah.
a, yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah, we got, wow. We got Rakesh, she's back in the back in the shadows, and Marta, we can never get her coming out, and Janet Jacobs and Dinku, Ganesh. Yeah, Alan, you got anything that you've been?
Well, I think I've been reading a lot of that book, the Boys, that just came out, and it's been, I would say it's definitely affecting. It's definitely been affecting me. I've been having to wake up. I've been kind of waking up. I woke up pretty early this morning, and I couldn't go back to sleep because I just was like, I just felt like you just get so in the world of what they were going through. Like they eat, and then they meditate, and then they do this same thing over and over. There's like probably about, I don't know, like 30 pages of like the same repetitive. They eat, they sleep, and then Baba did this, and then it just like, I think they wrote it really interesting way, because kind of puts you in a meditative state when you're reading it. It's very cool. You just, all you can do is you start just thinking about, that's all you can do is but yeah, that book is very beautiful. I hope Etienne's all right.
Yeah. Wow.
That's pretty much all I got. My computer died, so I'm not able to be host. If anybody can reach Angela and help her to reach me, I can't find my cell phone either to reach her.
Hey, here's something that here's something that some of you have probably heard, but I think it's rather interesting, that I wrote down from memory. This is about sharing our mystical experiences. I remember back in the 1970s going as a group with Erich to Happy Valley, not far from Arizona, on a little outing. While there, after Erich took us around the places associated with Baba, he shared with us about Prophet Muhammad's death and what followed. He said that what the world has come to know as the Muslim religion was a perversion right from Muhammad's death. I distinctly remember being very surprised by his use of the word perversion. He went on to say that those of Muhammad's companions who wanted to be part of the new religion went one way, and the others went back to their homes to continue with their lives. Those who came after who were interested in the religion joined the former companions based on Muhammad's precepts, and those who sought to know what it was like to be with Muhammad and follow him found where the latter companions lived and formed small groups around them. These small groups, Erich said, were a continuation of the Sufi lineage that actually predated Islam. This is as I remembered Baba's words from many years back, and it seems to bear out what he said on another occasion in the early days to Dick Anthony about small groups of his lovers. Dick Anthony wrote a book along with others entitled Spiritual Choices, which I believe investigates how religions and cults are formed. It was popular back in the early 1970s. Once when Dick was with Erich, he asked him if Baba would one day become a religion. Erich replied that Baba was adamant in not wanting a religion formed around him this time. Dick then asked, how can we keep Baba from becoming a religion? Erich said, if his lovers would gather together in small groups and share their mystical experiences, it could be averted. Erich's words were based on what Baba himself had said. After dropping his body, Baba wanted his lovers to continue to share their inner experiences in small groups to keep his presence alive without requiring any formal organization. What this means to me is because our individual experiences of Baba are so unique and different, it would be impossible to create a common dogma or set of rituals, a religious system that would include all the different approaches to Baba. Whose experience of Baba could become a norm and be organized into a religion? When Kitty was asked by a news reporter if the Baba movement was a cult, she replied emphatically, oh, no, no, you could never get two Baba lovers to agree on anything about Baba. So that's, oh, no, you could never get two Baba lovers to agree on anything. So for the time being, we're all right.
Yeah, Jeff, I have to say something on this. And in 1955, when it was with my father, 1955, my father went for the Sahwas to Mehrabad. And yeah, then he had some inner experiences, he was seeing lights, like such a brighter, means in Baba's presence, he used to get into the ecstasy. So he had experience while taking bath, so much like many suns, such a strong light, and he was lost in it in ecstasy. And so next day, when Baba was sitting in a hall and talking to everyone and asking them, and my father stood up and he said, Baba, I had last night, I saw such and such lights and music, and of course he was ready for the path, and Baba must have pushed him on the plains. So he used to get all those experiences in later years during his meditation. So when he described those things, uh, uh, yeah, Baba tells him like this, and see, not to talk about your inner experiences, it boosts, the ego gets tickled, and and it's a insult to me. You should keep your love within, inside you. So, but what I have to say, okay, the ego should not get tickled, what Baba mean, unless it tickles your ego should not get while describing to other person. Of course, it is helpful for the other person also, if it is helpful. But if your own ego gets tickled, oh, I'm getting inner experiences and I'm being pointed out by Baba and this, so that it's a very, one has to be very careful. And the spiritual path is like a sword walking on the sword, because if you slip and it will cut your you're gone. And even at the fourth plane, it was described in Bible that is a dark night of the soul, because you have such enormous experiences, powers, and you might misuse these powers for your self-ego and self-satisfaction, gratification, whatever. So that's it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think what Eric, I mean, well, Baba there himself said to share our inner experiences, but do it in the proper way. But it does, it's very encouraging to hear what other people are struggling with or things that they've discovered, because we're all kind of on the same battlefield, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of help by hearing how other people are relating to Baba and how they overcome their weaknesses and hang-ups. I find it very, very helpful to me.
Yeah.
Mayor Prasad, you got anything over there?
Just that I don't agree with what Kitty said.
Or you could never get the Baba people to agree on anything?
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, she was speaking kind of generally.
Yeah, I was just joking that
Oh.
that I was making her statement true.
Yeah.
Proving her statement.
We got Ganesh.
Wonderful.
Dinesh?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there he is.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Ganesh. I wanted to thank you to Ganesh for asking that last question to Charles, because that given me answer. You just arrived, Ganesh. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Ganesh. Yeah. By the way, last week when Pratap was talking about those like Abdals and like agents coming and helping him, and he was talking about Prashant's story, and of course I was not I was kind of reserved on these matters, but I had also an experience like that. That was in 1986 when I was flying from Chicago to Tokyo and then Delhi. So I had 4 suitcases with me. See, those days you could have taken so much luggage with you. So I had 2 large, very large suitcases and 2 small suitcases. And then from there, from Delhi airport, then I had to catch the flight for Jabalpur, internal flights. And so that flight, I came to the other airport, and then from there, the flight was gone. Jabalpur flight was already left. So I had no alternative. And I had a friend in Delhi. And so I thought maybe I stay with him and take the flight next day. So, but the phones were not working, and I couldn't contact him. So I was really very nervous. And then to that time, one person, I remember he told his name Sharma. He said he was working here and he saw me in this mess. And she said, you can go to Hazrat Nizamuddin and you can get a train also to Jabalpur. And I say, yeah, but with handling such luggage and going to railway station and all. Then he said, I'm going that way. So why not you come? So we had a taxi and then rickshaw, and then we went to and so he came to Nizamuddin, and then he helped me with my suitcases. But then he said, okay, you're with I will go and inquire. So he went inside, he inquired, and he said it's on the other platform. So he grabs my suitcase and he walks something like half a kilometer, and then other side of platform, and then he goes to the ticket office, and he manages a ticket for me, and means it was such a surprise, and he manages that ticket to me, and then he gives, and then he says, now I have to leave. So I was really very much touched. And then I say, okay, I want to give you, because money I didn't want to give him. I say, I want to give him a good watch. And he said, no, my wife, she works at the customs. And so I had enough watches and all. I don't want any watch. So I felt bad. I said, no, no, you come such a long, you took long distance. At least you should accept money for your transportation. And with great hustling those days, I gave him 50 rupees and he was gone. So then later on, anyway, so but then later on I could, means I was thinking maybe how Baba helps. So this is like there are so many stories in life,
Yeah.
and that really brings out how Baba helps you finally. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had, yeah, we've all had that happen at one time or another,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
somebody rises to the occasion,
Yes.
you know, helps us out.
Jeff,
Yeah.
at Effort and Grace, someone asked you a question and you said, I won't answer that now. I'll answer it later. So I'm waiting for the answer. You were going to tell something. I wish I could remember who asked the question, but it had maybe something to do with someone's past history, past lives or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this was on forgiveness, but I've shared that here, but also it was a woman named Rita Gordon, and I'll do it sometime when I'm on Effort and Grace.
I know it, but I was on Effort and Grace.
Well, I mean, it takes a little while to share the whole thing, and
I feel like I'm chasing a mouse or something.
yeah, I'll share it with you sometime.
Hey, Jeff.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you, but you're kind of it's a blaring sort of
Hello.
sound.
Okay, now is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you know, it's your birthday today, so wishing you really, really happy birthday. Very, very happy birthday. And I'm so glad that a couple of years ago, where I met you in Mehrabad, I was overwhelmed by your own story that you shared that day with me whilst walking down from this. You brought, I mean, Baba into my life in a much stronger way. My connection to Baba was, I think, solidified. So I think your story by itself was amazing. This is one experience that, I don't know, maybe if you could share again. Besides, you know, a lot of people, like you rightly say, have their own special stories, and one comes to mind. Just before this pandemic happened in December, so a year ago, between December and Jan, I'd met a lady in Mehrabad, a very young woman, and she was, I was her first trip to Mehrabad. I don't know if anybody knows of this story, but she was basically sharing it with a lot of people. And should I just go ahead and share it?
Yeah,
So
go
it's
ahead.
something really mystical. Okay. So like I was with, a duo, a mother and daughter from Delhi, and I was like very much all the time with them in Mehrabad. There was this last day when I was going back to Pune, and I was just going to take my lunch. It was the MPR, when a strange voice inside, like, just told me that, go and sit with Biff. And Biff was like at the end of the table, and I had been sharing 4 days with these people, and I really didn't want to, it was my last day, so I was like, I once again checked in and I said, do I really need to go and sit with Biff? And the answer was yes. So then I finally went to this mother and daughter, and I told them, I said, look, I need to go and sit on that table. And so do you want, you can join us. So they said, no, it's okay, you go ahead. So I went and sat with Biff, and I saw that he was sharing the table with two ladies. But really, I mean, like, one was from California and the other, I didn't know who she was. And I went and sat there, and there was another person also who was already at the table. So I joined the three of them. And Biff said, come, Namita, sit. I want to introduce you to this woman. Her name is L.A. E-double-L-E. And she's from the UK. And she's got a very straight, okay. So, well, I'd really like to listen to it. Then Biff said, but why don't you start with your story first? You two have a very interesting story. And again, the voice inside said, no, not today. So I said, no, Biff, not today. I'd rather hear what she has to say. And so she began her story. Very strange. She was just 26 years old, last year when we met her. But her story began when she was like a young girl of about 4 or 5 years old. And she was with her parents in the UK, and they had a very bad marriage, her parents. They would very often fight and they could get into violent fights. And this child, who was really small, didn't know what to make of it, but she would run into her room and just shut herself. And she said at those times, during those nights when the fights really became very violent, she said, I would actually be so scared and I would start crying after having shut myself down into my room. And she said, I would see, like, at the corner of my room, suddenly, she said, I would see like a genie appear. And I actually asked her, I said, a genie? I mean, like, a real genie? And she said, yes, there would be this this light, and there would be a genie there. And she said, I would feel comforted and I would, go to sleep. And she said, this happened for some time. And she said, then I told my mom about it. But my mom thought that, I mean, this is just a figment of my imagination. She said, I knew it was real. And she said, within a year or two, I think their fights became so intense that they separated. And she said, my dad left, my mom and I, we left the house. My dad continued to remain in that house. And she said, years passed and I had forgotten about those incidents. And life for me, like, changed, because she said, I never really, went back to meeting my dad or speaking to him again. And many, many years later, I think she said, until a couple of months ago, just that may have been just before she came to Mehrabad, she had a very strong British accent. And I don't know if I, gathered everything pretty well, but I think this is the gist of it, what I'm telling you. And then she said, a couple of months ago, I had a strange dream of a man who, he came into my dream, and that's it. But she said, then following that dream, there was this one incident, she said, where I woke up in the middle of the night and my windows once again were rattling and there was a storm. And at the end of the corner of the room, she said there was this bright light that suddenly glowed. And in the morning when she woke up, she had this strange feeling that something had happened to her dad. A very strong feeling, she said, that told me that, just kept telling me that your dad's dead. So she said, I told my mom, and my mom said, no, nothing like that. So she looked it up. I think in the UK, where you have these people who've died, who passed on, they have this record. And so she said, I called up the office and they said, no such thing has happened. She said, but still the feeling wouldn't go away. And I decided to take the train or whatever and go and visit my dad. And so she said, I landed at my dad's house. And the moment the door opened and my dad looked at me, he said, oh my God, Elle, it's you. I had been thinking about you yesterday. He burst into tears. And he said that last night when he kind of moved a portion of his wall, he was remarried, he had children and, from his second marriage. And he said, so his new wife, when she kind of moved a portion of the wall, maybe there was something like a cupboard that was barring that wall. And he said, we saw your old paintings. I mean, I saw your old paintings. And he said, that just moved me so much. And we hadn't spoken in a long time. And I just wanted to apologize for all that I had done. And so she said, Elle said in her own words, she said, that was the beginning of a healing for me that I knew would take its own time. But it had begun. And she didn't know who or what had actually made that happen. What had transpired for that to happen, basically. But then she got in touch with a person in India where she wanted to come and learn yoga. And this person, once again, because of her accent, I didn't quite understand that when she landed in India, how was it that she came here and she got to know after coming to Bombay that the course was cancelled. The yoga course was cancelled. And that was after landing in Bombay. So I was pretty astonished, but maybe I didn't get that part. And she said, after coming here, I called up this guy and he said, the course is not happening. And she said, but I'm in India now, what do I do? So he says that you come to the place where I am and I will give you a one-on-one session in yoga. So you have to stay here for whatever, month and a half or 2 months. So she said, yeah. And then, so he said, you need to come to Pune from Bombay for that. So she took a taxi, she came to Pune. It was 2 a.m. and she said, I had no clue because there was her first trip to India. And she said, no clue as to how to get to this hotel where this guy had asked me to come. Suddenly, she said, out of nowhere, 2 women, it was 2 a.m, appeared out of nowhere and they told her, we will help you. So we will, so they dropped her, they boarded the cab along with her and they dropped her to guess a place in Koregaon Park called the German Bakery. Near the German Bakery, there is this place called the Yogi, I'm forgetting the name now. It's called the Yogi Bar or something. I go there often. And I know that there is a picture of Baba in the reception. And she said, the moment I came there and at the reception, this was like in the morning, early hours of the morning, she said, I saw a picture of this man in the reception. And she said, oh my God, this was the man who came in my dream a couple of months ago. So that was the first connection she made with Baba. There was a cab waiting for her. This guy had obviously arranged for her to take this cab. And she took the cab and guess where she came? To Mehrabad. The course and this person were both happening in Mehrabad. And when she came to Mehrabad, she realized and she came to the Samadhi and everything just fell into place for her. She kind of joined the pieces of the puzzle and she said, he is the genie who has been guiding me since I was this small child of 5 years old or 4 years old. And he is this person who's been in my life since that time and who now is also made me meet my dad after so many years and through whom I know my healing is going to begin. I mean, I may not have been able to say it in the same, way, in the way in which she's probably related it, but it was so tough. And before this, she said, I've shared this story with so many people. I'm not sure, Biff, if this is going to bring out the same result. Sometimes when you repeatedly, keep saying the same thing, it doesn't, necessarily in you provoke the same feeling. But at the end of it, she was crying unabashedly. And she was like, she said, I have never cried so much. And I said, maybe that is why Baba brought me from that lunch table to sit here with you and Biff and to listen to this amazing story. You know, I mean, if I had not listened to my intuition and I just walked away, I don't think I could have heard this. And there is one more beautiful story that Biff, in fact, so this was L's story, but there was this one more beautiful story. So Biff was like, so then she, after we left her and, you know, we walked her out and all, Biff and I got back at the lunch table and he said, do you want to hear something more? And I said, yeah, sure, go ahead. And he said, you know, there's this lady, Parvinder Kaur. And my eyes nearly like, I froze actually. And I said, Parvinder, are you telling me about this lady who has a child that was a gift from Meher Baba? And he said, yeah, do you know about her? I said, no, not really. I don't know her, but I know, yes, about her. A year ago, I said, I was like going through Facebook and I came across a lady, Aarti Raheja, who had lost her husband and her son. And they are with Baba, they were with Meher Baba. And she, on one of her posts, there was a comment by this woman, Parvinder, where she says that, you know, how she came to Baba. Basically, that was her story. So these are all mystical experiences. And she described her story, you know, where, I mean, I'll cut it really short. She says how she lost her child who was 2 years old, and then how Baba came into her life and guided her through various signs and people, telling her that she would, you know, her next child would be a gift from him. And it did happen, but I was like, this is about me now. And when I read her story, I was so skeptical. I said, Baba, I don't believe in all these mystical experiences. I've never had something like this, you know, where people are into the occult and the supernatural, where, you know, yes, I've had intuitions, but I've never had, you know, you tell me actually, okay, I'm giving you a sign today, and then that actually transpires. So Parvinder Kaur's story had stayed with me, and I had told Baba at that time, I said, I will believe in this when you actually show me a sign of this. So Biff actually telling me the story about Parvinder and then telling me, you know, and then why would Biff tell me a story about the same woman whose story I had read a year ago and had forgotten about it? You know, I had actually asked Baba to, you know, kind of make this happen. And that was happening. It was unfolding right before my eyes via Biff. And Biff said that he met this lady and her child, who was then 1 year old. And that child had actually, you know, he was just 1 year. And he had recorded a beautiful song. Biff had recorded a beautiful song, a chant or whatever it was, you know, that this little child had sung on Meher Baba. It was mind-blowing. That song was so beautiful. And I actually thanked Biff, and Biff and I were crying at the end of it. Like, we had tears when I told him my story. Anyways, so yeah,
Beautiful.
that was what I wanted to share.
Yeah, no, lovely. Oh, there's so many, I mean, there's so many beautiful stories that have just sprung up around Baba. I mean, it's just, and I mean, Mandalay Hall, if you sat in Mandalay Hall, there was a wealth of these kind of stories that came up. Yeah, no.
Oh, happy birthday, Jeff. That's Jeff.
Yeah.
Many happy returns of the day.
Yeah.
Baba's sweetness will be on you. So is it December 6th or December 7th?
December 7th.
Yeah.
A day that shall live in infamy.
What a day, it's 7th.
That's what FDR said, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
And then how are you planning to celebrate your day?
Oh, I was not even, I haven't got anything particularly in mind.
दूसरा झाड़ू चाहिए क्या?
Yeah. Dinku, yeah?
I think.
She disappeared. Oh, she really disappeared. Alan, you got something there, or Ganesh?
Okay, last week we had been to Satara, so to the accident spot. That's when last Wednesday, my morning, I couldn't join. So we had a small gathering we offered our prayers and came back at bus accident site on December 2nd. On December 2nd.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. A few of you did. Prakash come with you?
Pratap.
I mean, Pratap?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were around 7-8 people. So it was a very informal gathering, not a formal one with all this COVID and everything. So that's what it was.
Yeah.
Remembering Franklin Roosevelt, Jeff, you just remembered. And I remember always remember his famous quote about democracy, that it's a covetance where you respect the rights of your fellow being.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, he was. Baba said he had a spiritual quality. Roosevelt did.
Yeah, that's why democracy is such a thing. It's a spiritual thing where you respect the rights of your fellow being, others. It's kind of empathy to your fellow being.
Yeah. Well, let's see. See if anything comes up. I've been on the Zoom quite a bit today, so I might be a little Zoom dead, but I had a couple of stories from Kitty and Elizabeth that and they're not I can't seem to access.
Yeah, that story that you shared earlier about Elizabeth telling somebody to go into the woods there.
Oh.
That was just incredible.
Yeah.
Very, very, very touching. Very touching.
I had something else.
I mean, what you shared last evening, Mike, that was your daytime in the morning, was incredible.
Yeah. There was something.
The dog Kippy, that was also a very touching story.
Yeah, let's see if I can give you another story of Elizabeth. God, my mind is just blank. Here's one that about Kitty. Kitty used to it's called malapropisms, where you kind of get words kind of mixed up and phrases. So anyway, Kitty, there was this very distinguished couple named Sir Thomas and Lady Hopkinson. Tom Hopkinson is, and this was this couple from India. He was knighted in England, and they met Baba, and they were followers of Baba, and they were coming to Myrtle Beach, and Kitty was all kind of like, she would get kind of little hyper with receiving these distinguished people, and so they arrive at Dilruba. And as Kitty's at the door, and this very distinguished couple is coming, and just at that very moment, there's a woman named Edith Bradbury, who had met Baba, a longtime Baba person, and she was coming out being escorted by somebody. She was around 86 at the time, and Kitty looks at Edith, and says, "Oh, that's Edith Bradbury. She's suffering from gonorrhea," and Charles kind of bumps her, and trying to head her off. And she says, "No, she's suffering from gonorrhea." Now, I mean, here she's 86 and everything, and it turned out it was supposed to be glaucoma. The problem with your eyes. She got gonorrhea and glaucoma mixed up. Those are the kind of things that she she would do. And there was one time when a woman named Ella Winterfeld was close to dying. She was, she was at a place called Pine Lodge, it's one of the cabins in the center. And everybody was gathered around, and I was I was a part caretaker of Ella, but I was in the center working. And Kitty is witnessing this scene, and it looks like Ella might be breathing her last, and she says, "Oh, quick, get Jeff on the Weight Watcher." Instead of the walkie-talkie, the Weight Watcher. I mean, but in a very kind of such a dire, end of the life scene, So get Jeff on the Weight Watcher.
How many years did you spend with Kitty and Elizabeth, Jeff?
Oh, from 70 to, Kitty Elizabeth died in 1980, so about 8 years with Elizabeth. More like, because I was doing programs and everything. But then Kitty lived till 1991, so that was close to 20 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Kitty was quite a lady.
So whom were you more close to, Elizabeth or Kitty? Whom did you feel more connected?
Kitty. Yeah. Oh, Tex Hightower used to describe Elizabeth as, she was an imposing person. And he would describe her as the Rock of Gibraltar on roller skates, moving slowly toward you with her laser beam blue eyes.
Wow.
So she kind of moved, kind of slowly, but, the Rock of Gibraltar moving slowly toward you on roller skates.
Yeah, from all the stories people were saying, it sounded like she was pretty, I don't know what the word is, I guess what I'm reading, like that kind of spiritual detachment, but also very intuitive, and would kind of look, seeing into you, and just kind of speaking from that heart space rather than concerned about your feelings or like how you're going to take it.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she had a 360-degree awareness, you might say. Most people use 10% of their awareness. She was kind of open all around, front and back. Same way with Kitty.
Yeah, very poised personality, Elizabeth. And you feel a kind of happiness in her presence.
Yeah.
Once Baba described, can you differentiate between a mad person and a must? And then Baba said, with a mad, the vibration, you feel kind of depression. Means if somebody has psychological problem, but a must or an advanced person who is spiritually advanced, you feel a kind of happiness. He gives a joy to you, inner joy in his presence, even though he doesn't speak. Like you must have felt with Muhammad Mast when you're around him, and a kind of feeling. So the kind of joy these ladies, stalwart ladies, could transmit being around them, Jeff, you must have noticed all these great ladies. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a natural buoyancy that emanates from them.
Right.
I always felt whenever I was with Elizabeth or Kitty that I was in the right place. I was
Right.
doing the right thing. You know, I know Darwin would call Baba, refer to Baba as total significance. When you're with him, it was total significance. And same way with Kitty and Elizabeth, you felt you didn't say, well, should I be doing something else? No, this is the place, the best place to be on earth at this moment.
Refuge.
With them. Yeah.
So, who was the last woman Mandali basically to pass on? Because I remember when I came to Baba about 10 years ago, there was just one Mandali, I think, woman Mandali who
Meru?
was still
Meru.
living.
Nehru, I think, was the last. Yeah.
Yeah. My eyes would remain, I was I still see like a sea of, it still reminds me of so much of depth in them and compassion, I think. Yeah. I just saw her once or twice. I didn't understand at that time what the Mandali were, or, you know, why I was even coming to Baba at that point. But she was, I guess, always there at Mirazad and welcoming people. So
Yeah.
I just thought, okay.
And as I say, I mean, Eric said the Mandali and his close ones are back amongst us. So it's not like the era of the Mandali is over. They all want to come back and do whatever they can for Baba. So, you know, some of these young people may be some of Baba's old ones coming back and his close ones. So
Yeah, quite possible.
that's a beautiful thing. And Eric said there's a party. I mean, he didn't say this, but the way I interpret it is a party after that party, and then there's a party after this one. For the next 700 years, we will keep bumping into each other.
Baba has given the gift of intuition. So maybe you have to use your intuition and try to feel those fortunate souls.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll just be very inspiring and helpful in your life, and they won't stand out. I mean, like Darwin Shaw, he was up there in New England, and you know, people went to those meetings, but he was very low key and everything, but they were great meetings. You know, it wasn't like he set himself up as some figure. But that's the way that's the way I think the Mandali will come back. They will be somehow in part of these groups, and then you'll really like to go to that group over there, you know, or that group over there is great too, you know.
So, Jeff, I need to drop off because I need to get to my office work. So,
Oh,
Jai Baba.
Oh,
and see you all again
Yeah.
on
See you,
my
Ganesh.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
Jai Baba.
Meher Baba ki
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Ganesh.
Yeah.
Jai Baba.
I might
Yeah,
have to
Baba.
go here pretty soon, but I mean, unless somebody has anything to bring up, or Tricia, you have anything that occurs to you over there? Can you bring one of your paintings or drawings up close?
Oh, for me, this is my favorite one. Hang on, I'll turn this around.
So put yourself on the speaker.
Oh,
No, I mean not you, but us. So we can see.
yeah. Okay.
Look at Baba's eyes up there. Look at that.
It's big. It's about 1 meter wide.
Yeah.
Oh.
A big painting. I love it because we just always looking at it.
Oh,
Oh.
so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Give us one more. One more. We're begging.
Okay. This is my. I just got to unplug. This is my. Can you see that one up there? Hang on. Can you see that one? That's my Rembrandt arbor.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so it's not quite in focus, but it's straight ahead there. That's the one from England, right? Yep, beautiful.
He had that fur coat, right? The fake fur coat.
Yeah, that. Do you have any of your line drawings?
I think she's muted.
But she can hear us.
Yeah. Line drawings.
Yeah.
I'll show you one of Mara.
Yeah. Okay. She's really a fine craftsman.
It seems today is her 40th wedding anniversary. Yeah.
Say that again.
Tricia's 40th wedding anniversary.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Jim.
Can you see that one?
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, exactly.
Wow.
I did that in India. And I think Baba did it. I didn't really do it. Baba did it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Wow, beautiful.
Just kind of emerged on the page. Yeah.
This
Baba,
painting resembles Baba.
I'm sorry, what?
Behera.
This painting resembles Baba.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
In this painting, Mera resembles Baba.
And he's saying that the drawing also resembles Baba.
Oh.
Yeah, you can see. Yeah, you can see.
Boy,
To me,
the peacefulness.
It's kind of like I captured her purity.
Yeah.
That,
Beautiful.
the pure
So
soul.
soft.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for asking. It's nice.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
How about just one more drawing? You got one more drawing? Then we won't ask any more.
Dil mange more.
I miss being in Australia. It was very beautiful there.
Yeah. She lived at the bottom of the mountain, you might say. She lives now outside of Melbourne, but yeah.
You can see Mara having tea, the picture with Sister Mani.
That picture.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Total significance.
Yeah, lovely.
It looks a bit like you, Ellen, in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That picture, is that part of the passport pictures that he was taking?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that was it's another one of the fur coat.
Right.
Yeah, fur coat series. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Looks
was
like Alan minus the realization.
There is definitely a photo I've seen of Baba where Alan, you really do look like him, which is really lovely.
Did we meet in Australia?
Oh.
Did I meet you in Australia at the 51st? I think it was the 51st gathering anniversary. Were you there?
I'm not sure if I was there for that one.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think I was.
Oh, well.
Happy
Yeah,
marriage
down
anniversary
there.
to Tricia. Happy marriage anniversary to Tricia.
How do I get my face off the screen?
What's that?
My face, my image is kind of stuck on the screen.
Oh.
How do I get rid of that? Okay.
There has to be a co-host. Sorry, I would be able to do it, but my computer died. It has to be a co-host to take your screen.
Or what is that,
You have
Alan?
to make it in the gallery view so that it's not just focused on.
Oh.
I put her on her spot. I mean, I put her as spotlight. Yeah.
Oh, you
Oh,
spot.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, yeah.
Tricia, I remember meeting you at MPC, the
VJ, is that VJ
Yeah,
speaking?
Vijay, Vijay.
I remember you too.
Yeah, Jim and Tricia McDowell. Yeah.
Jim passed away 3 years ago.
Yeah, I know, I know. Yeah, I know. Such a lovely soul. Yeah. And really appreciate your love for him. Yeah.
Yeah, what a love.
Yeah.
Hey
Yeah.
Jeff, I had a question.
Yeah.
You know, when you're talking about total significance and being, you know, I had that, I have that very acute sense whenever I mean, the two times I've been at the center in Myrtle Beach, where everything just feels as if it's that was the one thing I was quietly to myself. I kept thinking, I kept wondering about, like, why does everything feel like it's just naturally unfolding around me? Everything feels like it's just interconnected, and I have a greater sense of that, more than just when I'm out in the world. But sometimes it feels like, well, that was definitely a mistake. But when I was at the center, things would happen that I would think was a mistake, or I would think was something weird or something uncomfortable or something, but there would be the direct, it was very fast. You would see something happen, and then the direct correlation of what that was connected to and why, and the feeling. I mean, it was just, I guess, is that intuition being focused in on because of being at this close to the source of Baba's home?
Darwin had a term called divine order. When you kind of plug into divine order, things all unfold in a kind of divine way, not just the kind of ordinary, the random sort of way out in the world. Things would fall in and beautifully synced in. You know, you go from this place to that place, and it can happen if you go to Meribad or Merzad. All the contacts, everything seemed to have been orchestrated, divinely orchestrated in some way. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, it's like it just, I don't know if that sense of divine orchestration necessarily happens for me in my daily life, unless I'm really efforting, unless I really, throughout everything I'm doing, I'm really constantly making the effort to focus on Baba, or just drop into that place where that, as Fondia was saying, the dill, like the deepest the deepest part of the most bottom. I like when he says, like, the bottom of your heart. Like, that really connecting to the bottom of your heart. But being at the center, yeah, it was felt sped up, and it felt very, I mean, it was like just effortless. It was just like I would walk out the door, you know, there'd be a snake on the ground, something would happen, you know, there's all these other things that would happen, but then it would all come to culminate by the end of the day or something. Like, this story would make sense a lot more than nowadays when I'm rushing to work and, you know, all that.
Yeah, when the vibrations are up on that refined level,
yeah,
you get the experience of things being kind of divinely orchestrated by Baba. That's a great current to
It's
be
all
on.
in the process. It's a process going on.
Yeah.
Unfolding the layers of ignorance.
Yeah, that's but just to feel, to have the sense of that what I think the difference was, which I was there about 2 years ago, was I just felt like it was hopeless for me to ever feel, you know, Bob's presence out that much outside of the center. But then this shutdown has been quite an experience of having to kind of go inwardly and just keep asking, like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And you touch into that I don't know what you call it, with just his love. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, no, I mean, one thing that I gathered from Erich and Darwin and the Mandali is, and I've said this before, never think that Baba isn't right before you, watching you with the greatest love, taking delight in you. He is there in front of you. Now, whether you experience it or not, he is always there with everybody. And we say on a overcast day, the sun isn't out, but the sun is still there as it is when the clouds aren't there. So it's even though you don't feel it and you can't say from experience that he's right in front of you, they really insisted, always think that Baba is there loving and adoring you in front of you. And if you don't experience it, that's all right. But always hold that there, because that eventually, when the clouds do lift and disappear, Baba is not like he just then came. He was there the whole time watching you. It's that intimate. Yeah. And he's looking in on everyone. I don't know how he does it, but he looking in on everyone.
Can I share a Jimmy dream?
Yeah.
Jim would have very amusing dreams, right? Okay, so this time he's going through a lot of stress in his life, and anyway, he had this dream of being in a forest, and he was being chased by this tiger, right? And he's running and running and running, and then the tiger catches up to him, and he goes like this, and he goes into like fetal position, and the tiger's right there, right? He's going, grrr, grrr, and he's going, Baba, 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 and the tiger says, I am Baba.
Wonderful.
Well, get off of me then. Oh, that reminds me of a dream that Jack Small had, and then maybe we'll. Jack Small. Jack lived in India, and he was kind of the assistant to Adi for some time, and then he was assistant to Balkachuri, and he told Adi, just treat me as Baba would treat me, no kid gloves, just treat me. And so he was always getting hammered and blasted. first by Adi, and then by Balkachuri. And so we would get together and compare notes every year, and he'd tell me all about what he was having to go through, and I'd tell him what I was going through. But finally, after about 20 years, I go over there, and he says, Jeff, I gotta leave. I can't. I thought I could handle it, but I can't. I gotta go back. Gotta go back to the West. And a couple of days later, he has this dream. And in the dream, he's in the audience with all these people, and he looks up on the stage, and these are all the people in his life. I mean, not only was he kind of got blasted by the Mandali, but then he lived in the trust compound, and people were always scapegoating him and everything. So anyway, he's in this play, and he's this theater, and he's watching, and all he sees all of the people from his childhood that gave him a bad time, and the Mandali and the Westerners that he was having problems with. And he's watching this, and it comes down to the end of the first act, and the actors come forward and they bow, and when they lift and they take these masks off, when they lift their head, everybody has Baba's face. And then Baba looks out at him in the audience and says, how do you like the play so far?
Yeah. I was his neighbor, at Mehrabad, his bungalow, and I made my bungalow in his neighborhood. So he used to tell me, oh, Vijay, life is so tough here at Ahmednagar. How could you stay here And of course, now I am in Pune, but my bungalow is still deserted and in its neighborhood. And but Virginia could stay. His mother, Virginia, could stand that until end. She was there in that house, and then finally he sold that property to some industrialist. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, well, anyway, I think I'm going to. I've been on the Zoom here for probably 7 hours today. I don't know.
Happy birthday again. You're
Yeah, I'm
Zooming.
11 minutes away from my birthday.
Zooming birthday. So yeah, so let us wish you happy birthday, 11 minutes, and then you go back to
Yeah.
sleep.
Extended birthday.
Well, I don't think we could get Adrian to play one last song, right?
She's in a meeting right now, actually.
Oh, okay.
She's in a different meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, it's also my wedding anniversary today.
Oh, yeah.
We were married on your birthday. I didn't know that. You now,
You mean on the 6th or the 7th?
the 7th.
7th, yeah.
What other significance of 7th December, Jeff? Any?
That's when Pearl Harbor was bombed by the Japanese. That's why Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, "The day that shall live in infamy."
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also the day I heard about Mayor Baba.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Good. You're gonna have to tell us sometime.
Yeah. Thanks to Bruce Hoffman.
Yeah, I remember Bruce Hoffman. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
somebody could sing a song, Jeff.
Hey, wait, I got a couple of quotes here.
Okay.
This is one that Erich had by his room there at Marizad. Live in the world like an ant. The world contains a mixture of truth and untruth, sugar and sand. Be an ant and take the sugar. Oh, here's another one. This is by Sadi. He was a Sufi mystic. All human beings are the members of one body. Every person is a glint shining from a single gem. When the world causes pain in one member, how can the other members ever rest in peace? If you lack grief for another's sorrow, can you count yourself among the living? Yeah. And this is the last one. Oh, hey. There was a young kid that came to India, and this occurred in Mandalay Hall. Erich asked a young boy, "Do you know what pleases your dad even when he doesn't tell you?" Erich says this, "Do you know what pleases your dad even when he doesn't tell you?" The boy replied, "Sure." Erich responded, "That's the way it is with the beloved. You know what pleases him because it's in your blood. It's inborn." Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Let's see. I don't know if Jacqueline is there, but Meph, Sham, Tricia, all of you guys.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, it's Matt and Nori. Many happy returns of the in Baba's love and Baba's service.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yep. Jay Baba.
Powerful birthday, Jeff.
We
Powerful
get
birthday,
together
Jeff.
on Tuesday evening if you're around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jai Baba, Jeff. Thank you.
Jai Baba. Good night.
Happy Good night. Good night.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
Yeah,
Happy
thank you. Yeah.
And happy marriage anniversary, Tricia.
birthday.